G-Pain, how come Anton lets you have 6 miniguns? I'll be honest, this has been a long time in coming. I've been wanting to record a video about hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. Made one attempt, didn't really go anywhere. So let's try and actually get this done. So what is H3 VR? It is one of the early VR games that came out in early access. Is one of the most feature complete, even though it is nowhere near done. The guy in charge of it, the Rust guys have said as much. But it is... I mean, it has a decent amount of stuff. Now, most of these are just like gun ranges. The first thing to understand is that this is a gun sim. It's Gary's mod for guns. It's a whole bunch of things you can do in it, but it's not really a set game. The closest we've got is, we've got the meat grinder, we've got the meats preview, which is a new thing coming in, and a couple of other minor things like the Gunnasium, wherever that ended up. Where is the Gunnasium? There it is. That's an interesting one, which I'll actually jump in really quickly to show you. And it's been constantly updated. Like the early loading screen was just, if you've seen some of the early videos, was just, you know, black area, a couple of things that you push, that kind of thing. Gunnasium is one of the other older ones that hasn't been updated at all. Still works really well. One of the things is also included is you can change the gravity setting. So I've got it set to low grav because that's how I roll. But it is... I mean, it's a gun sim. It's got a whole bunch of unique things that he's been playing around with, but end of the day, it is primarily about shooting some guns. And as you can see, like this is one of his early prototypes where you actually grab onto things and drag yourself. It's a Climby. I think Climby uses the same kind of mechanism. Well, I never played that game. No targets as yet. This one's pretty simple. Just don't smash your head against the red boxes and shoot the blue target you come across. Okay, so I haven't been in this mode for quite a while. Hang on. Do some two-handed climbing action. Oh wow, okay. So, I'm going to guess that he broke something, or he disabled something, or he did something, and now this mod isn't working anymore. Because as you can see, there's no targets. Well, that's fantastic to show off. To show off this game, just go into the one mode that doesn't have anything. Haven't seen anything said, so I might just... Again, that's one of the old ones. He's in the process of upgrading a bunch of them. Like, for example, I'll show you one that definitely does work. Arcade Protocol. Now, the original one of this was pretty simple. You had an AR-15... an M4 Carbine. It's low grav doing it again. I mean, yeah, it's an AR-15 model style rifle, but it's I'm confusing myself. Though I'm too much into guns to mess up like that. Anyway, the original one gave you an M4 Carbine. It gave you these... Well, actually, no, yeah, it did give you everything that's here. So here's the M4 Carbine. Complete with detachable. So you can go with the classic iron sights here. Or if you want, you can strip them out and put on another kind of optic. Mac 10. Actually a Mac 10, or is that a 911? I get the feeling it's actually a 911. Yeah. And cyber pistols. So that's what it used to have, but now he's finally added in... He's upgraded the sequences, he's added in an actual spawn menu, so you can do this with any kind of firearm that you want. And the reason why this is great, I'll spawn an AK to show you the difference, is the way guns handle loading. Now you saw before with the Glock, did the thing where I actually locked it back. You can do that. You can do this. All just using the touch controls on here, on the so just pressing it causes you to have the grab tool like that. But no, it is actually accurate to the type of rifle. So if I want to do that to get unlimited magazines, so that won't do anything because the safety's on. Still won't do anything because I don't have a round chamber. Now I do. Empty mag. Press down to eject the magazine. New one in. Now I can either rack it, or I can just slap that, which I freaking love. You can do two-handed holding. And that also works, keeping one hand away from it. Just pressing up on the thumb pad does the same thing. So a whole bunch of controls have gone into it. And you see here the bolt didn't lock open that time because there's no empty magazine. If I was to get an empty magazine, that's not an empty magazine, that one is. Just like it would on an actual AR style platform. Then if we flip over to the Kalashnikov over here, again, same kind of deal. He's modeled these to be as close as he can to the actual rifle. So magazine goes in, rock that back, and nothing happens because safety was on. Still nothing because safety actually blocks that, which is great. And just like all Kalashnikov style weapons, I only flick the safety. So safety once, single shot, safety again, put you on full auto, and then again back to safe. This one is full autos first, and then single. Now, one thing that used to happen was he did have a thing where you need to do like, oh well, this one has like the magazine release, so you need to grab it and then press a button and then do all that kind of stuff. He's changed that now. There's been a whole bunch of experimentation. Like, over the last year, there have been so many updates, so many changes to the way things work. You can also kind of do an Iraqi reload, as I fail to actually insert the new magazine. The one thing you can't do is the whole thing where like you grab the bolt and then let it go, and because then that happens. Although, I'm going to try this because zero grav is now a thing. So, if I can do it without it floating. Don't think my hand's stable enough to it. So go like that, and then like that, and then wait, maybe there is a way. I'm gonna try it one more time. So bolt back. Yeah. So you can't Iraqi reload, which is good because that's a stupid way of reloading anyway. But there are so many guns. Got all kinds of assault rifles, I have all kinds of pistols. Interesting one is the way that the bolt action rifles work. Because currently there are only two of them. And even though there's only two, I'm going to take a second to deviate here because this interests me. And this is why I really like what he's got going on. He's got so many things, like for example, there's different kinds of ways of holstering weapons onto your body, including behind your back. There's a new feature which is added in, which is you can now harness. Go make that infinite. The fact that you can now harness weapons on, so if like it's like, oh crap, round's complete, but I've got a sidearm, it just snaps right there. So the bolt action. So this is always one of those ones that's really tricky. Why? Really tricky to do in any kind of VR game, because how are you supposed to do the whole like gripping, and because there's a very simple mechanic that you can do in real life for how to operate a bolt action, and it's just bang and then whatever. VR's difficult to do because trying to keep it all stable and whatever. So you got out of ammo, which is just a straight pull. You got Pavlov, which I'll be doing a review of in a bit, which is basically doing it that way, except the problem is you can't let go of it with your strong hand. So if you're a righty, you have to actually like do that. And you can see like I'm able to do it pretty well just because I've been playing this game for a while. Like grab it, shoot, grip button to let go. And there you go. And that's when this comes in. I love zero grav. You should see, I've got some video and screenshots that I'll put up probably about here, just of what happens when you have full auto weapons and you have the don't unspawn spent casings and zero gravity. And when you have a pair of MP5Ks, you're just going rock and roll in that 2 minutes. Seriously, this game's great. So here's what it's done this time. So I can do that. Or fire. You press up. Oh wait, which one is it? You press there, that's the one. You press right on the trackpad. You tilt your hand back, you tilt your hand forward. So what you're doing is just that. And actually, it does feel really natural. Get rid of that. That's right, because I had it holstered. Now it's not holstered. So now it's a shell casing. So yeah, so many different ways of using firearms. Got all kinds of shotguns. We got the tube-fed ones. We got break actions, which are good fun. Give an example when my thing works well. I mean, the guy who runs the game does a whole bunch of... Every release he does a video about it, so you can just go and watch those and see all the shit that he's done, like being able to stack up multiple kinds of ammo. Which, before that, there was one shell per slot, which was annoying as all hell for any kind of shotgun. But now... And yes, the shells are interactive. My aim sucks. I just love the physics as well. Alright, so going back once more to the main menu. So yeah, I mean this game is freaking great. If you just want to mess around with all kinds of ones, like, you know, there's a breaching protocol, so you can kind of do like an IPSC kind of match where you're going through and shooting targets. Modular range to set things up, which is what the meats preview, which I'll get to in a sec, that's what that's replacing. Boomski. Nice, quick, simple. This used to be my go-to for what to actually like play. Assuming he hasn't broken this one as well. I've just realized this won't work because I've got no gravity turned on. So let's go ahead and fix that. Nope. Oh, and this one doesn't actually have any belt slots. Okay. Gotta be very careful how you grab them, because if you accidentally grab them by the pin, then, well, I mean, you know, this happens. But they don't blow up. That is interesting. Ah, screw it. Let's see what happens with low grav. It adds an interesting challenge. I'll give it... Oh, wait, no, you can't actually score anything because they need to fall. That's great. Okay. What have we got? Oh, here we go. So performance, no. No. I don't know why I thought it would be movement. Simulation? Here we go. Gravity for ballistics. Realistic gravity for player. Playful just means like slightly less, which feels a lot more natural to the game. Yeah, playful isn't proper gravity. If you want proper gravity, go realistic, which is if there's a grenade. Nope. Don't know why that's so dark. But if I drop that, it's realistic. If I set to playful, which, yeah, it's slower, but it actually feels a lot more better in VR because that means you're not trying to like rush to grab things. No, I still want that. Okay. Try this again. And again, I don't know why that's so dark. I'm paranoid that I'm going to try and grab one of these and grab the pin. And nope. Not what I was going for, but see, what'd I tell you? So this is probably another mode that he needs to update at some point. It's good fun. Alright, main menu. So yeah, Breaching Pro is good fun. Really quickly actually show you it because Locomotion Options, again, this is why I love this guy. I love what he's doing because he keeps on updating everything with this game. So he's been through the gamut of like how do you handle weapons, how do you handle how to stash them on your body, how do you handle the spawning menu. This used to be, oh shit, no it isn't. Okay, I thought it was still physically tap them. That's how it used to be. Now it's just point and click, which is, yeah, more functional. These will still be tap though. So, get rid of that. Get rid of, oh. So let's go with, I'm still trying to do it. Let's go with I won't say one of the classics, but they're all classic. Let's go with the one that's actually called classic. As made famous by John Wick recently, which I still have to get around to see because it isn't out in Australia yet, because they hate Australians apparently. So yeah, Frenchie's Best 12. In either semi-auto or pump action. I actually forget how many shells this takes, so I'm just gonna, I think that was 8. 7 or 8. I'm gonna say 8. Okay, so it's set to pump action, and actually won't pump until you shoot it, which is, I guess, a feature. So what I'll do real quick is holster that. Oh, holster that, and we'll also get a handgun of some kind. What would go well? Well, it's Franchi, which is it French or Italian? I can't actually remember. So let's just go with another Italian gun. The really cool thing is that you can actually do this because this is a double action. Oh shit, the Beretta isn't actually a double action. There's if you want to try and drop the hammer on a loaded gun, it's you can press and then pull the trigger and then drop it. Huh. Well, that's something that I've learned. Did not know the Beretta was single action only. Okay. So. No, wait, I gotta do the thing first. I'm getting all kinds of confused. So teleport, we got dash, which is Holding down the menu button, it does that. We've got slide to target, which is the same as dash but a lot slower, which isn't too bad. Like, it doesn't really make you feel too nauseous, which is always an issue. Touchpad. This is the mode that, depending on how fast you're going, will make you nauseous. In the early versions, it definitely did. Oh, and you also can't walk through walls, because if you do, push my head against the wall. I'm pushing my head against the wall, and that's happening. What else we got? An arm swinger. What's arm swinger? Well, here's my favorite way of showing it. In this case... No, I do it this way I always do it. So Carbine, a pair of G36s, each with a CMAG beta. It's a little bit awkward trying to do two guns at once. Alright, so here's what arm swinger does. Just head to that. You hold down the menu button, and as you move the controller, you move in the direction that the controllers are moving. So, just like that. Now, while that's cantankerous and really not effective, it lets you do fun stuff like this. I see nothing inherently dangerous about that. Okay, so we're going to go with the touchpad, which yes, I can still drive, even while holding onto the gun. And we shall start. A little bit slow moving, but... Gun's a little bit big for where I'm using it, so stock folds up. Oh, there's another one. That was not a delayed reaction, that was just the pellets bouncing all around the area, and there's another one. VR is still very much a work in progress, but this is one of the better examples of it. Shit. Not my best shot, honestly. Still not bad. If you really want to throw yourself off, holy shit. Early days of VR. 73 out of 100, yeah, it's not bad. Alright. One last area, then I'll put this to bed, because honestly, look, the basic opinion of H3 VR is that this is a must-have. This is... yeah, it's touchpad. Wait. One teleport, there we go. It is a must-have. Even if you're not really a gun guy, it's just the kind of stuff that he's doing in this is really impressive. And in fact, a lot of what he's been doing, especially with, you notice on the boards where you get the guns, a lot of what he's been trying to do is, like, help people who aren't into guns. Like, for me, it's real easy. Like, you give me a... doesn't spawn me with a gun. You know, I go in here and it's like, oh yeah, M1911. I know what that is. I know what that is. Like, I can tell you exactly, like, to me, holding it back, locking up the slide, that is natural to me. As is like magazine in and like that. You don't use the slide lock down to do it, and that's how it's supposed to be carried. Hammer back, safety on, because that way it is. And I'm doing this because there is a mode for the lightning reflexes, where it's like up, safety on. I'm just experimenting with... There we go, you can actually grab the magazine out. This is a 7-round magazine. Alright. Try that again. Close enough. Cleaning up. See, just nice little controls like that. All work in progress, and it's all going really goddamn well. Like, I know how to operate those. You know, I go into any of these and I understand the correct way to do it. But if you're a gun person, alright, revolver, how do you load it? How do you gotta pop out the thing? Like, I know there's just a switch on the side, so obviously left thumb pad. Nice and easy. This goes in, and then you can just figure out that. But if you're not a gun person, you're just thinking like, how do I? No, I don't want to spin. How do I? And mine's doing that. That skids and the bullets go everywhere and live and. Hence why there's, you know, that little bit up there. This is also a recent thing is added in, and it is so good. Okay, that was more than 6 rounds. Yeah, close enough. Actually, no, wait, I need that back. I can get rid of that, though. Yeah. Because, yeah, this is the latest thing that's added in, and this is the one that's like, this is the best, whoop, push the button, my bad. This is the best gameplay thing that he's done. As you can see, I've been doing quite a bit, and, not going super great, but going super great enough. Oh, you can use automatic pistols. Like, that'll work well. And all it is... So holster firearm. So firearm goes in there. Just gotta remember where that is. And then... Shit. Slightly thrown off because I missed. Does happen a few times. I keep forgetting where the actual, like, holster is. See where it says get ready? That means you don't have to do the quick draw. And... those red puffs are what you want on those targets. That means hit bullseye. Blue is good for those ones because that means you hit the center. If you hit the red, then that means... once you get used to it, it's good fun. Shit. Hey, it's not bad. Holy shit, that's not bad. I wasn't expecting to do that well. So yeah, this is the most gamey mode because not only do you have actual, like, you know, you want to make something like the old police shooter arcade ones where there's like different targets and different situations, yada yada. But then you also add in the source system, which means you actually have to like pay money to buy these kind of weapons. Which is good, like, in all the other modes, just like, oh, take whatever you want. So, if you wanted, you know, the big guns, you just say the big guns. Like, you know, miniguns, rocket launchers, whatever the hell you want. Does he? Nope, there's nothing like that in here at all. Obviously, because, you know, like, grenade launcher would be actually kind of OP. Maybe. What is really OP is this motherfucker. 50 BMG sniper rifle, which will be really handy for the long range shooting, except the one flaw with this game, the one issue that I constantly have with this game that everyone has, is that when you're trying to use long arms, you just can't. You need something that's actually attached to the physical controls that you can actually like brace yourself with. We've been able to do long range shooting, but what that requires is a whole bunch of pillows lying down on the floor and bracing for that, and it's all kinds of awkward. Especially because my play area, I got enough room to do this in, not quite enough room to comfortably lie down. So one issue is long range shooting, but that's because he's going for like high accuracy, which means that the little bit of wobble that you have means the target wobbles all over the fucking place. Like a lot of games have artificial stabilization, smoothing, that kind of shit. Like Pavlov especially, it's really easy to line up a shot. So there you go. What I might do, I haven't unlocked too much stuff, but one thing that you do start with, fortunately, is the MP5K, which I mentioned is the one that I don't want one of those mags. See, MP5K only comes with a 15 rounder, but there's no cost for getting the MP5's 30 round mags. And yes, you can HK slap. Takes a little bit doing though. You have to click as you, but it's cool. Always been a fan of these ever since the DK5 in goddamn GoldenEye. Love them. Actually, I wonder if. No, I tried this and I failed horribly. Oh well, doing it again. Yeah, still need to unlock some more guns. Like, I'm very comfortable with the M4 Carbine and that, but I haven't got enough to unlock it. So the fact that ballistics aren't fully molded yet, and oh, I got a bit of, probably because of the bullet casings, probably because of the casings. Let's clean those up. Yeah, if you have unlimited casing spawn, you get a little bit of a performance hit. Again, you should have seen the cloud, which I'll put up another clip of it. That cloud tanked my computer's performance. Not really much more to say on that. I know I'm going to lose the points there, but nah, I don't care. I'm going to go in that many anyway. There you go, H3 VR. It is such a good game, such a good game. It's, again, my #1 pick for anything at all. If you're not too into guns, that kind of thing, it's like, well, it's still an interesting VR experience, so maybe, possibly consider it, but it is predominantly a gun sim, so if you're really not into it, yeah, I can understand that, but the amount of work that is put into this, the amount of experimentation he's done is just incredible. So yes, I do highly recommend it. And I'll leave you with some of the big guns. When he did his Christmas update, he added so many goddamn weapons. Like, so many. The big one being the P90, which I did a... Oh, the watermelons all fell down. I mean, look, we got the P90, which operates just as awkwardly and cantankerous as you would expect. Magazine actually went in there pretty well. It actually doesn't shoot too bad, even though I'm not using any kind of sights. 2-stage trigger as well, so single shot, I keep pulling the trigger. Still couldn't hit that bottle. Well, it's being an Ozfag, the Steyr being in. It's all kinds of good news, and it also really shows just how awkward it is trying to use a bloody bullpup. And again, 2-stage trigger. So much fun. And I would honestly be remiss not to include the explosives. Oh, drop the ladder. And that's just using the thumb pad. Just so if I flick this, oh, flick it open, flick your thumb down, you had lights. Short fuse! Blew up everything. Good times, good times. And then of course, if you want to go full ridiculous, you got this kind of stuff. Good old wombat gun. And yes, you do actually have to manually flick it to eject. Oh. And that's how you break physics in this game. Last but not least, let's end this on the one that I got really excited for when I unpacked the Christmas crates. Because like, you got two of these big boxes. I went through the whole thing and like opening up all the different ones. Like, oh cool, you know, Browning High Power and, you know, the Steyr Org and the Farmison Enfield LE. And you were going through all that cool shit, like the P90, holy shit, how can you get any better than this? Open the big boxes. One's an RPG-7, and the other one's a goddamn minigun. I mean, don't really have to say anything more about this game. It gives you an actual goddamn minigun. If I can actually get the ammo box in. But the question is, does it work? You tell me. That was 1,000 rounds of ammo. On that note, I am done. Thank you guys for watching. If you did bother to stay watching for this long, I'm doing a bunch of VR games to finally get some of my thoughts on those down, because holy shit is VR fantastic. Like, I'm so glad I made the plunge on this, because if you're still on the fence about VR, just give it a while. Gen 2 is... They've shown some stuff about what's coming in the next generation, so hopefully it'll be a lot cheaper, a lot more refined in what they're doing, and the game should be a hell of a lot better. I mean, this is one of the early beta games, and even this is pretty damn impressive for what it can do. So yeah, definitely, if you're into guns, H3VR is required. If you're not into it, you know, still give it a look, because it is an interesting... Okay. It is an interesting view into what they're trying to do, because, yeah, Anton's been playing around with a whole bunch of different stuff, and some of it I've been seeing appear in other games as well. It's like, oh yeah, I remember when Anton was messing around with this. Like, yeah, it's a useful, solution to a problem that didn't exist before VR came around. So yeah, 100%. Trying to figure out how to do controls left hand. There we go. 100%. Do I recommend this game? See you guys around.